Good evening. Welcome to the Pearl Report. I'm Diana Lin. Many busy city folk buy prepackaged food for the convenience. But what about nutrition? Hong Kong laws require ingredients and nutritional values to be labeled on food packages. But do consumers bother to read labels? And would they understand them? Producer Yan Zhou examines how we can make better food choices.
Do you read food labels?
Try to look at sugar and salt content, though I don't understand it.
Buying food for kids, I'd read labels carefully. For myself, I won't read everything.
Some English words with 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what they represent. Like this one, I can't read it. I take off my glasses, look closer, I still can't read it.
We quizzed people on the street about choosing healthier foods and invited a nutritionist to analyze their choices.
我覺得燕麥蘇打餅健康啲，佢有燕麥嘅成分啦。二來咧，呢個消化餅咧應該糖分比較高啲咯。
睇落去就應該係呢隻好啲，佢成分冇咁多嗰啲添加劑咯，有啲膨脹劑。呢隻話冇反式脂肪喎。
哦，呢隻啊。
It's a tie.
Normally, people just look at the names and think food with oats is better, especially since oats are quite popular in recent years among people with heart and cholesterol problems. We calculated the protein and fiber contents in both products are similar. But sodium in this one is almost 50% higher than the other. Sodium affects the heart and blood pressure.
我諗呢個好啲喎，好似
應該係紅糖健康啲咯，呢個天然啲咯。我係揀呢個嘅，因為我都有食開呢個。咦？呢個色素喎。哇！呢個成分好撈教喎，有糖啦、糖蜜啦、色素啦，呢個啱。
Brown sugar wins.
It's easy to make the wrong choice going by names only. Pure brown sugar should be less processed cane sugar. But this brown sugar contains sugar, molasses, and coloring. You see coloring, even two colorings, it's less preferable.
呢個有少少誤導咯，如果係啊，佢叫得個名紅糖就諗住係天然，因為同埋佢寫咗純正啊嘛，有少少取巧咯。
呢個最少脂肪。
呢個最少脂肪。
係咯。
係呢個啦，又係睇個名 light 樂兒應該係咪冇咁多脂肪啊？咁所以如果應該呢個比較健康啲咯。
睇落去就好似係呢個好啲，呢個鈉就冇咁高啦。
Seafood noodles, the favorite.
In terms of size, this is smaller, only 69 grams. This one is over double the size, but you see the amount of salt, that's sodium, over 2,000 milligrams. 2,000 milligrams is the standard daily intake of sodium. It's such a small meal, but the sodium already exceeds the standard.
鈉仲高啊！咦，咁又係個名誤導咗咯喎。
Maybe you're still hungry, so you eat one more. Then your sodium intake would be twice the standard. This is bigger, enough for a meal, then your sodium intake would be lower.
From 2010, all prepackaged foods sold in Hong Kong must bear labels showing the kilocalories and 7 nutrients, including protein, total fat, saturated fat, trans fat, carbohydrates, sugars and sodium, the so-called 1+7.
我問過好多唔同嘅朋友，有冇睇標籤嘅咧？平時出去咁啊，大部分都話唔識睇啦，咁同埋多數唔睇，係啊，多數唔睇，咁樣佔我諗一半人咧以上咧，其實完全都係冇諗過呢樣嘢。
Jones Ho is a registered public nutritionist. On this day, he and colleagues calculated the nutritional intake of a busy white-collar worker from prepackaged meals.
我哋集中咧計翻個脂肪量啦， 同埋個鈉啦，因為呢兩樣就比較影響大啲。
Let's say he has crackers and a carton of milk for breakfast, a cup of instant noodles for lunch, and half a pack of chips as a snack. Excluding dinner, this is the result. Nutrient reference values vary with different countries. Hong Kong uses Chinese NRV devised by the China Nutrition Society. Total fat content is 2/3 of daily NRV, while sodium exceeds the recommended daily amount.
Actually, many office ladies have a similar diet. If they add one more meal, they would easily exceed the NRV. Normally, people won't do the calculations. They're quite complicated.
To make it easier for people to compare their intake to the NRV, many manufacturers worldwide label each nutrient with a percentage of NRV per serving size or per 100 grams of food. In Hong Kong, though, it's not compulsory.
It's not easy to put a lot of information on food labels because the size of the packages is limited.
The information is there for people to make their own choice. But sometimes a number, numerical information, may not be easily interpreted by the public. Sometimes too quantitative may not be good because you can interpret as figure what is called high, which is low. A lot of other countries, especially in Europe, they are thinking about how to make the information just like using colors, because the perception on color, maybe red is always danger, green is always safe. So coloring may be a good alternative to illustrate to the general public what is it.
Instead of trying to decipher nutrition labels, some experts suggest paying more attention to claims on food advertisements.
For example, no additives. Let's say sugar. The food itself might already contain a lot of sugar. Not adding more doesn't mean you're not consuming a lot of sugar. I think it's a business strategy. This chicken powder does not contain monosodium glutamate. But does no MSG mean no additives or flavor enhancers? This contains two kinds of flavor enhancers. They have the same function.
請大家咧可以拎一啲零食咁樣，不如我哋一齊咧睇下佢有啲咩成分好唔好啊？我哋一齊讀喎，咁咧大家咧可以數下有幾多樣嘢咧係你唔識嘅，增味劑 E621、E627、E631。
E numbers are internationally used for food additives. From 2004, prepackaged foods sold in Hong Kong must have labels listing food additives, both by numbers and functions. This display at the School of Everyday Life in Tai Po shows what the E numbers connote.
一個檸檬夾心咁樣啦，咁佢咧嗰個顏色咧可能咧會係呢一隻胡蘿蔔素啦，再加呢一隻綠色，再加二氧化鈦白色。
Colorings, bulking agents, and flavors. Karen Shu watches what she, her husband, and daughter eat.
I didn't know what those E numbers stand for. Now I see them. Oh, that's what they are. Like the flavors over there, they remind you the cakes you eat come from this. Biscuits you eat are made from those synthetic things.
If you don't eat food with additives, it seems 90% of the food on the market would be inedible. Previous thinking is, once food additives are used on the market, it's okay for people to eat them. No problem. Now I'd wonder if humans can digest those additives. I'd query, are they healthy?
Many friends, when shopping, would flip a package over and read what it contains. But gradually, they would be numbed and looking at the E numbers like those for airport buses, accept the fact that every package of food has additives. Many European countries and the US started to call processed food from factories non-food, what's hidden in our food. When we can have a display that turns those airport bus numbers into concrete things, such as a bottle of powder, the effect would be different.
We consume many colorings and spices in our daily lives. We find they taste like the real thing, but they're synthetic. As a father, I worry whether they would harm my kids when they consume them.
Would food additives harm your health?
Excessive exposure to any chemicals could pose a health risk.
Occasionally, when you travel outside the standard, there's no panic. As long as we will not take the same food every day for lifelong.
There's a place for additives, so what we have to do is to learn what's too much and what's acceptable.
Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Pearl Report. Additives are prevalent in the food we consume daily. This has prompted some dietitians to promote clean eating to reduce what they say are an unnecessary health risk. Bananas, apples and potatoes turn brown quickly after being peeled. Then they don't have commercial value anymore. Because when they're exposed to oxygen in the air, the polyphenol oxidase enzymes are oxidized.
Dr. Vicky Fong is testing food that's turned brown with 4 types of antioxidants: water, sulfite, citric acid, and vitamin C.
Soaking in water slows down oxidation. Sulfite suppresses changes in enzymes, bringing back the original fresh color. This is citric acid. The color takes longer to be restored. Vitamin C is the best. It's an oxidant and can enhance our immune system.
She says manufacturers often add antioxidants in processed food products such as sliced fresh fruits sold in supermarkets, tomato soup, or dried fruits, etc.
Sulfite is usually used to make dried fruits, such as dried apricot, pineapple or mango, to keep their colors intact and fresh. But after the food is dried, there might be some sulfite or sulfur dioxide residue. Some people are allergic to sulfur dioxide, so consumers should be careful.
Sulfur residue in food is low in toxicity, but it might induce allergic reactions such as asthmatic attacks, headache, and nausea in some individuals. Fruit juice manufacturers also use antioxidants.
Often, in order to maintain the color of the juice, vitamin C is added. Vitamin C also lowers the pH value of a product to improve its defense against bacteria.
How much vitamin C would manufacturers add?
Usually around 1% or less because it is costly. They won't add more.
Thickeners are also used in fruit juice.
Normally, when juice is extracted, like this cup, without any additives, you can see it's very watery. Often, in order to make fruit or vegetable juices with authentic mouthfeel and rich in texture to drink, manufacturers add xanthan gum.
Some individuals might feel abdominal discomfort after consuming xanthan gum. There are 23 functional classes of food additives on the market. As people become increasingly concerned about food safety, Dr. Fong suggests manufacturers improve their formulas so as to reduce the use of additives.
Use the acidity in natural foods, pectins, flavors, and even colors to mix and match so as to achieve the pH value and thickness you desire. Naturally, you wouldn't need more additives. Often it's risky to change a food formula by using fewer ingredients, as this can change the preservation and use-by date of foods. So, many manufacturers are unwilling to probe deeper scientifically into reducing the use of food additives while maintaining food quality.
International authorities setting food standards review additives and establish acceptable daily intake for them. ADI indicates how much a certain additive can be ingested daily over a lifetime without appreciable health risks.
All substances can cause toxic. Just like water, oxygen, if we have to overdose with water, it will harm our health. So whether a substance is harmful to us will depend on how much we will intake.
Dr. Leung, who used to work at the Center for Food Safety, says the Hong Kong government enforces a good manufacturer's practice that limits the use of additives to the lowest level necessary to accomplish its function.
The GMP level is quite well below the health indicator level. So when you occasionally exceeding the level, doesn't mean it will have a long-term effect to you, because supposedly you will not take the same food every day for lifelong.
He says more attention should be paid to daily intake of nutrients than additives.
A lot of different kinds of nutrients, and that's low level to measure. You have to touch it by yourself. I will pay more attention to that thing.
Professor John Ho, an expert in toxicology, says some preservatives pose higher risks to human health, such as nitrate or NO3, often used in cured salmon.
That's a trade-off by using the additive. Like for NO3, although they are known, is known to preserve food and to inhibit bacterial growth, but an excess use of NO3 can be converted once get into the mouth by bacteria or enzyme in the body to make it into NO2 and then further to NO. Excess accumulation of these NO2 and NO would pose cancer risk to our bodies.
Some colorings are toxic too.
Like color red number 1, we use it traditionally to make a roast pork, so that is a carcinogen.
Red number 1 was banned as a food dye 20 years ago.
The food on the market has been put on the shelves for so long you can imagine it's not that fresh or it contains many preservatives. I feel more at ease if I prepared my own food. I know what materials I put in it.
Karen Xu began paying more attention to food safety and food labels after her daughter Hailey was born 5 years ago.
I pay attention to ingredients lists. Ingredients topping the list have the highest content. Nowadays, it seems nothing is edible. Vegetables and fish are inedible. Fish have heavy metal. I'm very worried, so I want to know more.
Karen used to buy processed meatballs, which contain flavor enhancers E621, E635, humectant E415 number 3, and thickener E407. Now she makes them herself. She makes her own spaghetti sauce. Prepackaged sauces contain additives such as acidity regulator E330, antioxidant E300, firming agent E509.
We used canned soup as spaghetti sauce when we were growing up. After eating it, you feel very thirsty. I think it might have a lot more salt or other flavorings than homemade ones.
Karen also says she used prepackaged wheat macaroni with no additives. Often, store-bought macaroni contains flavor enhancer E621, E631, E635, and color E150D.
I've heard a lot about the impact of food additives on children. Some might cause hyperactive behavior or other disorders. Your body doesn't need those things. I'd avoid them as much as possible. She's fallen ill and had to go into hospital after eating unclean ice cream outside. I know they may contain many additives. This time we make it only with fresh fruits. There are many things you don't know, like the E numbers and some preservatives. Of course, you can't avoid them completely, but you can start with your family consuming less. Especially instilling this concept in my kid, so when she grows up, she knows how to choose.
Count additives, not calories. 咁呢個好緊要嘅，係 eat clean 理念嚟㗎。
Clean eating, a new trend in some Western countries, means less processing and less additives in food.
A natural yogurt should only have about 2 ingredients, only milk and probiotics. But some of the processed yogurt may add with some coloring, some thickener, some emulsifiers, sometimes preservatives. The additive that I often recommend to avoid is colorings, and I think it is the most unnecessary additives among all additives. For example, this specific yogurt is added with a coloring called E102, which is a yellow coloring. This specific coloring may cause behavior issues in certain kids and may cause hyperactivity. This particular Greek yogurt has been added with E150D. Last year, we all talk about soy sauce containing cancer-causing colorings. It is the exact same coloring as that. There's a place for additives. What we have to do is to learn what's too much and what's acceptable. The best thing is if you can find a natural product to compare to it. What I often recommend is less label is better. And it's really, there are a lot of natural products out there that we can choose.
But it doesn't mean we can consume natural foods with abandon.
We eat a lot of natural food. Traditionally, we think that is safe. All the food may not be taken equally. Natural thing doesn't mean you can take it without any caution. As long as every substance has some toxicological effect, still we have to control the level.
Well, thank you for watching our show. It will be re-aired on Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday, as well as online and on mobile apps. Until next time, from the Pearl Report team, good night, good luck, and good health.